Hi, Tom Cole for the Steve Taylor Community Star today, and certainly an honor and a privilege for Steve and I welcome in Dr. Durant. Doc, thank you so much. It really is an honor to have you and Patty here. We were talking downstairs, you know, what you've done in our community. I mean, I see it. Patty and I live in the same neighborhood next to Beverly, and the lifting of families, the nurses in schools where youngsters can get maybe some of their first time seeing some kind of medical professional, providing lunches or breakfasts to kids that aren't going to get a meal, you know, during their day. The technology schools are off the charts. Steve and I and Terry have talked about that, giving kids opportunities to learn a skill for a job that they can go directly in it, make great pay, have a career, raise a family. I mean, the lifting that you've been doing, you and Patty and your staff, has been incredible. How hard has it been? Because I know that takes some energy. I know what energy goes into that.
Yeah, you know what, you're right on point. A lot of times people see the end-all result, and that's the only thing they see, but the behind the scenes of how many years of grooming, conversations, and all the things that take into play. And so, as well as accounting for all variables when it comes to servicing the needs of individuals who you really don't realize until you engage with them how many more things they need opposed to the end result. The pandemic was a prime example of it. It was more than just a laptop. It turned on to a laptop training. It went from training to understanding Wi-Fi connection, and all those other things, meaning now another hotspot needed to be put in based on a dead zone. So there was all those variables where in most cases other community families had a laptop, had Wi-Fi connection and other things, and you begin to really see all the needs that were really needed during those times.
Great stuff. I know just what Tom was talking about, the additions and the new exciting things going on. I think I read in the paper something about the aviation program.
Yeah.
And I mean, just what a great opportunity. And I mean, there's so many positive things going on, you know, with TPS. And I think that's one thing, you know, we talk about the brain drain, right? A lot of people talk about Northwest Ohio and all the negative things that are going on. But boy, you look at what's going on, you know, especially with TPS and things that you're doing in our community for our young people. I mean, that's exactly what you're doing, is you're focusing on these children, you know, from an early age all the way up through high school, to make the community a better place. Talk a little bit about some of the exciting things that maybe folks don't know about that.
Well, you know, you're right on point, and it is about the brain drain. And so we're operating off the notion that we want to educate you here, so you work here, that ultimately you live here. And that's economic revitalization 101. And so all the magnet schools that you're hearing, magnet schools have no boundary line. These kids come from all over Northwest Ohio, the state of Ohio, and even some pay tuition out of the state of Michigan. And so what these schools have been generated are concepts that are beyond the traditional expectations. So I've been presenting to various community members as well as parents. And so when you're talking about aviation, why? Because we have an airport. What better place to learn about aviation than the airport? That's where the school is at. When you talk about natural science, it's at the Metro Park. We have the #1 Metro Park system in the country. What's the best place to learn about natural science in the Metro Park? So guess where the high school is at the Metro Park. The #1 employment agency in Northwest Ohio is medical. Medica, Mercy, NHA as well. So what do you think? We have pre-med. Where do you think I want that at? The hospital. So guess where the high school is at? Pre-med, the Pre-Med Health and Science Academy is at the hospital. And then when we found that schools that didn't necessarily have a location to go to, we brought industry to them. And so one in regard to Toledo Technology Academy of Engineering, we brought the electronic vehicle program there. Being that electronic vehicles is becoming the next thing and such forth, and Taylor knows all about that, right? You know, they'll sell you an electronic vehicle, make sure you come down and get one. But again,
Crosby has 2 of them. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's got 2.
But the main thing is, at the end of the day, the Taylor, Automotive, and others are going to need individuals to be able to maintenance, understand them, work on these vehicles, because it's much more technology any time than ever. And so now we have a platform for kids to do that, because it doesn't exist in any of the high schools, as well as even in regard to UAW workers who need to be trained and other things. So, you know, even with that, and then the one we are excited about the most is the Bloomsburg. Again, Bloomsburg had, the foundation had invested $350,000 over at Jones Leadership Academy of Business. And again, we're trying to teach individuals and families and students how to grow wealth, how to generate your own LLC, as well as all the business concepts that have tried to bring success. But again, if you want to revitalize your communities, you have to have these communities understand how to build wealth. And within that wealth, they understand charitable giving, which ultimately is a reinvestment into the community. And the community starts to broaden because that reinvestment is happening within, because you built wealth within. So,
great point. And we've seen it firsthand. I know even with automotive technicians coming out of the program and coming into our dealership. So I mean, we've seen it firsthand, but we know the industry as a whole in Northwest Ohio is better because of what you're doing to train these folks and have them come in and get jobs right away, right? I mean, that's like you said, that's what it's about.
Steve, you're gonna like this. I think Doc did this. I think I'm right on this. I thought I saw someplace where, you know, Jeep is you know, that's also a big part of our community.
Sure.
They employ so many folks. You went to Jeep and said, what does a young person need to know to work in our plant? What skills are they going to have to work in that plant? I think I have this right, and I think it might have been through Woodward. Is that correct, Doc? So Jeep countered and came back and said, you're going to need this. This is how we set up our plant. These other machines, and then the kids are learning those skills. So when they get done at Woodward, they got a great chance to get hired at a job that is a great paying job, can lift them the rest of their lives. Am I right on that, Doc? Is that?
No, you're exactly right. Because at the end of the day, education is the platform to prepare for industry. So we allow industry to drive the direction. So we go to the automotive industry to be able to ask questions about what are you looking for
Right.
employability.
Okay.
So we went to Taylor, we went to Brown, we went to Ballas, we went to Yark, and we got all the variations of different organizations, because every one of them is a little different, to get a good sense in regards to how do we build a diesel program, or an auto tech program, or even the EV program. And at the end of the day, that has really helped give direction and guidance for ourselves. But at the same time, what we did is said, what certification can kids earn at graduation so they are immediately able to go into industry.
Right.
One of our success stories that you'll saw in the news is going to be picking up on it soon is our young man, because of the relationship we have with Delta Airlines, he just got his certification. So Delta Airlines has already hired him. Once he graduates, he will make over $50,000 immediately, 401k match, as well as paid vacation. I mean, he's going through all of it.
Yeah,
sure.
And I mean, he just turned 18, right?
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he just turned, but the certifications would drive these things. And at the end of the day, now he's become a individual in the community who's paying taxes and other
Yes.
things that help add to the revenue in the city of Toledo, Northwest Ohio.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. You know, everybody knows you as TPS Proud, right? I mean, you wear it, you know, with pride. How excited were you about Zai Cook? You know, I mean, a local Toledo girl doing well, winning a national championship. How cool was that, right?
You know, it was exciting to see, and you know, and I know Jimmy Jackson had given her the GOAT status, which is the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, her declaration of accomplishments, no one comes close.
Yeah.
When it comes to just being All-American in high school, All-American at the college level, wearing two-time All-State, two-time state champion, which has never happened in the city of Toledo.
Right.
Was in it back-to-back at that point, and then to go into the national championship with college. And understand, her freshman year, they were #1 and were projected to win, but pandemic hit.
Right.
Sure.
Last year, they were one pass away with 2 seconds left where they should have kicked it out to Zaya.
Yeah.
Zaya shot was at 28 points at that time. She had a hot hand. And they went for, you know, the under the basket, you know, shot, and they missed it. And that was different than winning it last year.
Right.
So this was her year,
That's awesome.
and we're excited. Mom and Dad are great people.
Yeah.
Zaya is probably the most humble athlete I've met to be at that level. I mean, she's at LeBron James status when
Yes.
you look at it. And the humbleness in what's in her, it just showed the value system that she has.
Right.
Yeah.
It was exciting for everybody in Northwest
Oh,
Ohio.
yeah.
For sure. That's
You know,
good stuff.
Doc, being now we talked about all the accomplishments, being a futurist, kind of a harbinger into what's coming. What do you see is the biggest issue that you and Patty and your staff need to do to continue to lift this community? What is it getting early education to the kids? Is it more jobs in our community? When you're looking ahead, what is the big mountain to climb now?
You know what I think is the education of what's out there and what's there to offer. We talk about Toledo all the time having some of the most greatest resources.
Yeah.
And individuals just don't know about them.
Right.
And so when I'm talking about these magnet schools for the most part, and people are like, I didn't realize there was actually a pre-med school within TPS.
Okay.
Or I didn't realize you guys actually have 4 airplanes. Some kids are flying at the age of 15 and all these other things, and we had no clue that those existed. So we find ourselves in regard to a repeated, you know, presentation, as well as this opportunity right here to get the message out. That's only in essence of as in preparing individuals and students for the workforce. But the other message is just early childhood is not about babysitting. The most essential time of a child's life is from birth to 5 to 6 years of age.
Right.
That's when the neurological patterns are all generating and developing. And by the time they get to 6 years of age, 95% of that neurological development, in essence of background information, all of those things, have already formulated by the time they get to school. the primary teachers and educators are within the home. And at the end of the day, the more that we can educate within that space, and if you don't have the ability, in essence, of being able to do that, how to leverage early childhood centers, pre-K and other things that really help provide those platforms. Because at the end of the day, like they said, is that, you know, when kids from kindergarten, preschool up to third grade, they learn to read, and fourth grade and on, they read for learning. If learning to read is slow, so then the process of reading for learning is. And so that's a real big essence of really getting families over the hump that really allows them to be successful within school, because reading is indicative of all subject areas.
Right.
And so the better they are, better comprehensive in readers, the better they will be in school.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's great. Well, man, we appreciate you coming in today. It was so good. I know how busy your schedule is, so you know we're lucky to have you in Northwest Ohio.
Yes.
You're a local guy. You know, stayed here, played football at the University of Toledo, came back. You know, you're doing great things for TPS, but not only TPS, but our entire community.
Yes.
We're lucky to have you here. You can tell your passion and your enthusiasm for helping kids.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really what it's all about, right? Is seeing them succeed to the next level. There's so many success stories that you have coming out of TPS. So thank you for what you do in our community. Thank you for being a community star. We're glad to have you here in studio today.
Congratulations,
Doc.
Doc. Congratulations.
I mean, the Taylor family have been great supporters of the community of the city of Toledo,
Absolutely.
Northwest Ohio, from dad to the son, throughout the family. So I have a great appreciation and respect for the Taylor brand. I told someone I've never had a Cadillac, and the only reason why I have a Cadillac because of these. That is the only reason why I have a Cadillac, that I've never had one in my life, never even known anybody. Because they were such great people, I felt guilty of not having one, and I told somebody, so that's why I ended up getting a Cadillac.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Appreciate it.
stuff. Keep up the great work, and we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another edition of Steve Taylor's Community Star. We'll see you next time.